And the University of North Alabama is facing one of the toughest schedules in the FCS. The Lions opened its season with a 21-point loss against Southeastern Louisiana last week, but had to quickly bounce back as they hosted number 24 Chattanooga Saturday evening. UNA put on an amazing display throughout the night, honoring those we lost in the 9/11 attacks 20 years ago. The Lions ran out guided by service members holding the American flag. What a patriotic scene. But now to the action. Mock's opening drive, quarterback Cole Copeland feeds it to Eileen Ford, and he turns on the Jets down the sidelines for the 25-yard Chattanooga first down. But the glory will be short-lived. The Lions defense will put a nail in the drive and force Chattanooga to a 26-yard field goal. And it's good, 3-0 UTC. It'll be a rough outing for the Lions offense. Quarterback Jalen Gibson couldn't catch a break. That was 1 of 6 sacks on the night.
Come on, offensive line, what are you doing?
Terrible outing. It'll be so rough, but later it'll get tougher. Couple drives and Lions on the goal line. It's Gibson trying to connect with Cortez Hell, but look at Kyrie Fields just chucking down the field. He gets knocked out of bounds, and it's back to work for the Mocs to start the second quarter.
Perfect example of the tip drill.
Yep, and they'll charge down the field, and it'll be Eileen Ford who takes off for the quick 1-yard punch into the end zone. Couldn't find him under that pile, but he's there. Mocs go up 10-0. And the Lions fans were anxiously waiting for the team to come alive. Still in the second, UTC trying to make another statement. Copeland chucks it up, and it's picked by KJ Smith. He runs it down for 7 yards. UNA goes back on the attack, so there's hope somewhere in this game. Only at that point, though, because later, Jalen Gibson takes a couple seconds, and he thinks he finds an open receiver, but he doesn't. That's UTC's Gerald Lawson, who takes off for the races for a Chattanooga pick 6. He was pretty open, just the wrong guy. That'll do it for them. They'll wind up winning it 20-0, and those fireworks couldn't pump up UNA. They'll take the loss. And here's what Coach Willis had to say after the game.
You know, it's just tough, man. We're going through some, what we call, I guess, some tough times right now here, and I'm used to winning all the time. I'm not used to this, and, this transition is tough on us. I mean, that was 2 really good teams. On paper, we're not supposed to beat either one of those teams. So I thought defense played well enough for us to win tonight. Offense played well enough last week to win. Sometime before this season's out, we were going to get them all on the same page.
So obviously not the start that UNA was looking forward to. 0-2 on the season. You were there in Florence last night. Just what happened to the Lions?
I mean, nothing happened to them. As you see, the score reflects that. Their offense really struggled. They only put up a total of 90 yards on offense last night.
Wow.
But I have to give credit to the defense. In that second half, they only allowed UTC 3 points on the board. So that was the shining light, but it wasn't enough. Had UNA's offense played at a better level, they would have done a lot more. They were in the red zone enough time to add scores on the board. There could have been 3 extra scores on the board, and we would have had a lot closer game. So I think that UNA really needs to tackle down and figure out what is their niche and execute on that, because they have an opportunity, and I know they're saying they're in a transitional phase. FCS has a lot of tough opponents, but they got to level up at the end of the day.
No, I'm with you. Jonah, what you think, man?
Yeah, I don't want to be Mr. Negative here, but you watch a game like that and you ask yourself, what's wrong with the offense, right? You put up 0 points, there's something wrong. Here's my question, because we got to a point where it became very close to the season. We didn't know who was the starting quarterback. Coach Willis kept putting it off and off. Multiple teams were taking reps with the first team. Is this a byproduct of waiting so long to name a starting quarterback, you think? Because that's my question.
I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I get what you're saying. And it seems like they didn't have enough time to really develop that chemistry when everything was going on in preseason camp. You were out in Florence, and you saw that many days when you were out there and whatnot. But here's the thing. It's still the beginning of the season, so it's A-okay because there's still a lot of football left to play.
I feel like that is what a lot of people are relying on, but when you are in a transition and you're going to be competing at a Division I level, the work has to start now. They've had enough time. They've gone against certain opponents. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy either, but we have to deal with the facts and that, time does eventually run out in the season. You have but so much time. They're not competing for a championship, but they got to get it together.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And speaking of that, next week they're going to take on Jacksonville State, who had a huge game yesterday against Florida State. We will talk about that in a few moments or whatever, right here on WZDX Sports Extra. We got to take a quick sports media timeout, but we will be right back. We'll talk about a bunch of games, including that Jacksonville State game. Stay with us. We'll be right back.